What's up, everybody? This is Tucker from MACkiteboarding, bringing you a long overdue review on the Ozone PowerPack. So sorry guys, I had thought I had already filmed this one in the past, and apparently I never got around to it. I just shot it in my mind or in my sleep or something and never made it out to you guys. So instead of ignoring it like it doesn't happen, bring you guys this news on the Ozone PowerPack, which has been a really fun wing for me this winter. Big fan of this wing for downwinding, bigger, nastier swell. Anytime there's some consequence if you can't redeploy accurately and easily. So the PowerPack has been really fantastic for me in our nasty winter season where conditions are often hectic, and if you get caught on the inside, it can actually kind of end your session. So with the PowerPack, we've got a few things going on. First off, this is a new bar, similar to what you got on the Pocket Rocket, but with some updates. As you notice, it's a little shorter, number one. It also has a yoke here, and that opens up the whole middle of the bar here. There's no center B line that's connected to the bar. It actually goes A, B, C, D in stages. You kind of see that here with the predominant amount of bridles coming off of the A lines. So those are really, the most prominent in this wing. And then you'll also see they are direct. So once you get above this connection here, just this first connection, it's all straight bridle lines all the way to the connection points. There's no splices and splits branching off. So that is really clean, really nice. When you're collapsing it, it's silky smooth. Getting into these lines, now that we're actually talking about the lines here, they are a little stiffer than what you got on the Pocket Rocket version 1, but still silky smooth like those. They are stiff enough to not wrap around themselves and get kind of knotted and tangled like sometimes would happen with the Pocket Rocket V1. I know some people complained about that, but they're also soft enough on your hands where it's really smooth. I mean, you can really rip on these things and it doesn't hurt your hand at all. The splices here are all woven in and sewn really clean. So on a lot of wings, you got kind of this jagged edge right here, or this rough thread that you feel on these. Man, it's silky smooth. It's like putting your hands through wet spaghetti. So these things are really comfortable and nice. This thing is built for stowing and throwing. So you hear that from me in the more review portion of this, but this wing is just a king at stowing and redeploying easily and accurately and reliably. So that's going to be a common theme in this wing. So those are the bridles. That's that. Going into the canopy section here, we have a nice round leading edge. This thing creates a lot of power. It gets a lot of lift going off of this wing. And as compared to the Pocket Rocket, it does have a more downwind pull. It does have a deeper position in the window. So it doesn't want to drive forward and upwind quite as much. It wants to sit deeper, create that power and downwind pull. So this wing is best utilized in positions where you're headed downwind. That might be a downwinder. It might also be a position where you're riding downwind and then back upwind, or vice versa. Because this wing does still go upwind quite well, although maybe not as good as the Pocket Rocket, but close. This wing, its performance is centered around riding waves. This is a wing that you're going to be packed up more often than not and then easily redeploying. So I would say the PowerPack is really focused on downwind type performance, wave performance, because of that. But as I mentioned, it's also quite good upwind for a wing that has this power, for a wing that has this kind of downwind mentality. So I wouldn't shy away from it for an upwinder, downwinder either. It's just going to take you a couple of extra tacks to get upwind as compared to something like the Pocket Rocket. So the PowerPack creates a lot of pull for its size. It's very easy to fly and stable. It is a very compact wing. So it really utilizes as much canopy as possible. It's very flat, so it doesn't bend as much like this. It's more flat out here, really showing a lot of that canopy to the wind. So for its size, it creates quite a bit of power. This guy here is a 3.5, or sorry, 3.6, almost a little bigger than 3.5. But I would say, you know, with some proper technique, you know, this can be almost used like a 4 because it does have that downwind pull, especially if you have a little wave to help you along. You can really get up quite easily with this wing. And then, you know, as I mentioned, going upwind works great too. It's not going to build quite as much apparent wind as the pocket rocket just because it sits a little deeper. It's got a bit more drag to the canopy. So you might not be able to ride quite as small a foils if you're riding upwind as you can with the pocket rocket, but you can size down quite easily to accommodate bigger foils, getting on foil easier. So that's that. We have the ribs in the front here are really nice. They really get a good shape to the wing, but also collapse well. Minimal ribs, just where they need to be. So the canopy is very simple, lightweight, packs down tiny. I'll show you that in a minute. So really well designed, again, to pack down as small as possible, to redeploy easily without difficulty. Nothing extra that's going to get, you know, in the way or add to the packing size or any issues with that. So back to the bridles here. You'll look at our red lines here, the A lines. You'll notice they're grouped off in 3 separate groups. So what you're doing here is capturing the center lines here for an easily identified and easy to collapse stow and throw. So if you're just collapsing this thing quickly, this is going to be the best way to do it, rather than grabbing all the A lines and trying to get the wingtips to fold in, which a lot of times is kind of hard, or you get a little pocket in the front. Grabbing the center is going to allow you to quickly kill that power, and then you have the wingtips here to kind of fold in. And then when you redeploy, it's also easy to drop this, grab that, get it ready, throw it out. And man, this thing is the easiest wing to stow and then throw out and redeploy out of any wing that I've used. So I think that's where I'm going to give it its highest marks in its reliability to stow and redeploy accurately without making your life hard. You don't need to sort through all the A's and find the 4 A's and then collapse. You don't need to do all the bridles and do that and then, okay, now I got to restring the lines every time I throw it back out. If you're going to ride a wave for quick, you pull it down, hold it here, throw it right back out. It redeploys perfectly almost every time. So for me, that's where this wing is fit in to my quiver, is when I need a wing that can easily collapse, let me ride a wave, throw it back out, whether it's 10 seconds or an hour later. I want that redeploy to go perfectly every time, to go quickly so that I can engage that power if I make a mistake or if I need to cut outside for some reason. As I mentioned, our winter can get kind of hairy. A lot of times I get a little greedy. I'm riding on the inside where the waves are breaking in the break zone. You don't want to get caught in there. You don't want to come off foil. You definitely don't want to get caught in there off foil without a wing in the air, because that could really result in you getting washed up and having to walk back, or, you know, struggling through the breakwater and really having a difficult time of it. So in those situations, you need a wing that is going to be reliable in throwing it back out and creating the power you need, and then collapsing it quickly when you find that good wave to ride, without causing any mistakes or tangles or issues. And that's what the PowerPack does. It collapses perfectly, it redeploys perfectly, basically every time that I've had it. So that reliability is to be praised, even if you take a little bit of a compromise in terms of, you know, your VMG as compared to something like a pocket rocket, or your upwind ability as compared to the pocket rocket. The PowerPack is definitely a different animal. It's not going to drive upwind quite as hard, although when you really lean into it and drive it upwind, it does ride upwind better than, you know, basically most of any of the other downwind wings, but still not going to be as good as those high VMG upwindy kind of wings like that PowerPack or the Frigate, for instance. So that's that. Let me show you guys real quick. And before I do, one unique thing here that they got going that was also on the pocket rocket on the PowerPack here is you have this horizontal stabilizing line. So that really keeps the shape of the canopy, it keeps the proper curvature, and helps to keep the wing from bagging out over time. Really positions the ribs in the right orientation. So that's a small detail, but something I found across a lot of different wings that is very effective. So the wingtips, as I mentioned, they're very flat, very square. So your power per size is really good. I'll show you here how my typical Stow goes. So it's very easy to find these without even looking. You feel that ball, you know it's the center one, bang, collapse it. Look how perfectly that concertina is right into my hand. No air pocket, straight lines, no splices, smooth as silk. So you got that. You can tuck it, fold these guys in, wrap it up, stow it away, ready to rip. Ready to throw it back out? Great. Drop it, grab those A's again, pull it out, throw it, bang, go. And it is, I'm telling you, I haven't failed one. Haven't failed one yet once I've figured that out. Again, you can, still stow from the trailing edge, and you get a little air pocket there, not bad, but it does wad into your hand quite nicely too if you want to do it that way. Then you're going to need to drop it, restring that A-line section and throw it again. So it goes both ways, but I usually find to kill the power quickly and with the least amount of resistance, the A-line, center A-line section here, as you can tell, they've engineered right into the design of the bridle, is the best way to do it, the most reliable way to do it. Even if you're surfing around for a few seconds with this little tail, it's not hard. The bridles are very short, as you can tell. I mean, this is super easy. I don't need to go anywhere near a full span to fully collapse this wing. So it is very easy just to cruise around, carve around, re-throw it out, and just rip. One other thing I'll mention, you notice the funky colors on this one. This is one I had custom made. We can do custom orders through Ozone for special colors. Maybe you have, certain colors you like or certain designs, or you just want to be different from everybody else out there. Contact us if you want to do that. We can do a custom order through the factory, get your special colors on your wing, and it really doesn't take long. In most cases, just like 3 to 5 weeks to get you a custom wing with your colors designed for you. So if that's interesting for you, contact us for details. We can help get you set up on that. But if you're a rider that likes to ride in waves, if you're into downwind riding, or if you just want a no-nonsense wing that's not going to give you headaches in the stowing and redeploying and just give you some good pull, it's really hard to go wrong with the PowerPack. Initially, the way it's pitched as a downwind kind of a wing, I thought, yeah, I don't really do that many downwinders. I'm usually, going upwind and then downwind. I don't know how I'm going to like it, but this wing is fantastic. It's still very impressive upwind. You can get up really, really well up into the wind. It's just not quite as good of an angle as some of the best upwind parawings in the market. So if that sounds okay to you, I will happily trade a little bit of upwind performance in terms of the stowability and the redeploy ease of use. Most days, if it's nasty out or I'm in the break zone, those are just situations where you can't fail. You're going to waste a lot more time fiddling in the shore break, trying to relaunch and get through all the waves with things dumping on your head, than you are just, upwinding with a better upwind wing anyway. So this one's very comfortable, very easy to use and do that. If y'all have any questions, contact us here at the shop. If you've ridden a PowerPack, I'd love to hear about your experience in the comments section below. So hit us up there. As always, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. That really helps us out here. This has been Tucker with MACkiteboarding, and we'll see you next time.